Sunny Radio, where it's always in the 80s. Thank you so much for listening to another edition of Partners in Education, brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. I'm super excited to be visiting with our guest because I haven't talked to him in a couple of months now. We've got Matt Walls on the line from Keystone. Matt, how are you, sir?
John, I'm really great. How are you?
Very good. And it's sad that we're not getting to talk in person today, but we'll get to do that again one of these days. At least we get to talk. The last couple of months, we haven't had this program on, but super excited to be talking about the program we have for the month of March. We've got Partners in Education, and the topic this month is Being Better, Resilience in Recovery. And what are the different things that we're going to be going into under that particular topic?
Well, to back up just a second, John, the Partners in Education series is really a training and learning portal that we've engaged with for Keystone Treatment Center, the Bakery in Sioux Falls, and NAMI, South Dakota, and other partners like Sunny Radio. And one of the things that we all believe is that people should have really good information about mental health, suicide prevention, substance abuse, and other things that really impact people and their families at a deep level. And so just for those listeners that might be hearing about this for the first time, this is a training opportunity that we put together every month on the fourth Thursday of the month, and it's always live. And we do a live web stream for those that can't make it in person. And that live web stream is really important this month because what a great problem that you have. You're already seated at capacity in just pre-registrations alone. Yes, we are. You know, it is a good problem to have, I guess. But yeah, we have to obey fire code. And so we've got folks pre-registered already, and we're at code, at capacity. So unfortunately, for those that want to join in person, you'll have to wait till next month. That's just fine. We welcome you next month to our upcoming presentation. But this month, this Thursday, tomorrow, is Resilience in Recovery. And we're talking about, really, John, how to be resilient in both mental health and trauma recovery and addiction recovery. What are the things that we should do to be well, and what are some of the things that we often do that keep us sick? Very nice. And I see we've got a guest speaker from Volunteers of America that's going to be doing the presentation, it looks like. Yeah, Dr. Bruce Fogas has been a psychologist at Volunteers of America for a very long time. He's also a professor of psychology, really, really bright guy. He's been doing it a long time, and I have a great deal of respect and admiration for him and his work. He's dealt with folks across the spectrum on a lot of different issues, and I've seen just some amazing miracles happen in people's lives as a result of their work in recovery, working with him and working with others to better their lives. It's just, I have a lot of respect for Dr. Fogas, and he's fun, too. He's one of those fun presenters. A lot of times, I know when I think about, a psychologist presenter. Yeah, I understand that. You know, I always think, John, this is going to be dry and not fun. Yeah. And maybe a little, quote, shrinky. Oh, yeah. But Dr. Fogas is anything but, quite honestly. He's just a great guy and a lot of fun. And the folks, I've seen him present at NAMI conferences before. And NAMI, for those on the radio who may not be familiar, NAMI is the National Alliance for Mental Illness. And he's presented at those conferences before. I've seen him, and folks are just engaged. And they're really in tune with this concept of resiliency. And it's a great concept, and it's something that is very important, that resiliency. And it's not just, as we talked ahead of time, this isn't just for people in the mental health field, but also the other side of what you guys do with addiction. This is also something that's important and absolutely lends itself to that field as well. Right. If there's a person that works in or has been affected by, like family members especially, or people who've been personally affected themselves, through mental illness, addiction, or have been engaged in the social work field. It's a good topic to understand resiliency in terms of adapting to adversity, looking at mind, body, spirit work, preventive things that we can do to help stay in balance, such as sleep and nutrition and relaxation, exercise, meditation, being a part of different groups rather than apart from. different groups. Does that make sense, John?
Absolutely makes sense. I agree completely. Again, our guest today is Matt Walls. He is with Keystone Treatment Center, and that's one of the groups that helps put on the event each month, Partners in Education. It's a series that happens on the fourth Thursday of the month in Sioux Falls, South Dakota is where it happens. It's at a place called The Bakery, and like we said earlier, the seating is full for tomorrow, but you can have as many people as you want log in and watch it live on the internet. And I'll give you the website. We'll remind you at the end of the program as well. thebakerysf.com/live. And again, that is the live stream for this event, thebakerysf.com/live. And a huge thank you to the bakery for helping to make that possible. And like I said before, we couldn't do it without Keystone. And a huge thank you also to NAMI of South Dakota, because without those organizations, we wouldn't get to do this. And it's a lot of fun, so I'm glad that we get to do it. And Matt, I missed you guys. The last couple of months, we didn't have the radio portion of it, but you guys were still doing programs. And I'm glad to have this part back on because it makes a difference. And I think it's just been a fantastic way to get the message out.
Absolutely, John. I love being on the radio and getting the word out. You've got a great audience, amazing listeners, and I'm a child of the '80s, and I love your station, and you're just a great guy to work with, and we really appreciate all the work you do to help get this message out.
Well, now I owe him $20 for the compliment, don't I?
How about a cup of coffee, maybe? We'll settle there.
We're going to be coming back with Matt here in just a moment. But first, we've got another guest that we're going to be chatting with, and he's new with Keystone. We've not yet had a chance to speak with him on this program, Jason Strickland, and we're going to reach out and chat with Jason here in just a moment. Thank you so much for listening to Partners in Education. Again, the series this month is Partners in Education, and the topic is Being Better, Resilience in Recovery, and the seating is full for tomorrow, but if you'd like to join them, you can do that virtually through the online portal and watch it live at thebakerysf.com/live. And again, that is tomorrow at 11:30 in the morning, and more details on that coming up after our visit with Jason Strickland, and that is next.
Keystone Treatment Center would like to help you kick your addiction. Whether you struggle with drugs, alcohol, or some other addiction, Keystone may be able to help you find freedom. Call our toll-free number to learn more at 1-844-204-1055. Thousands of success stories from clients all over the country. Be the next success story. Get the help you need from Keystone Treatment Center. Chances are your addiction will not go away on its own. Get the pain to stop and let freedom begin. It starts with a call, 1-844-204-1055.
Thank you again for listening to Partners in Education. Again, this month, Being Better, Resilience in Recovery is the topic. And right now, we're going to actually meet a new member of the team at Keystone. We've got Jason Strickland on the line. Jason, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Be with you.
Yeah, we're glad to have you on the program. So now, how long have you been with Keystone, sir?
Just a couple weeks now. I am as green as they come.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about your background. What were you doing before you came to Keystone?
Sure. I was an outpatient counselor at a treatment center in Owatonna, Minnesota, Fountain Centers, and I had been there for almost 2 years. And prior to that, I had worked in Owatonna at a purchasing position. So, I don't know, some of that background along with my experience in outpatient counseling, I think they'll be a good fit for Keystone. But, you know, the thing that got me involved in counseling folks in addictions was my own recovery story.
So this is something that's personal to you then?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm a person in long-term recovery, so for me what that means is I haven't had any mood-altering chemicals since July 7th of 2011.
So, Jason, what was it then that led you to recovery back then?
Well, for a lot of folks, it's negative consequences. So my story is really no different there. I had what I would call managed, if I could even say that. I managed my alcohol and chemical use for many years and somehow avoided any trouble. But I got a DWI, and, you know, like many people who end up finally getting caught, there's many times that I could have been caught before that, and I'm just grateful that, you know, nobody got hurt. I'm grateful that I had an opportunity to really go to a place and be with a counselor that helped me get honest. And I had a lot of good intentioned people when I got in trouble that said, hey, just when you have to do the chemical assessment, tell them what they want to hear. And, for me, I was in my 40s, had 4 kids, and living in a small town. I grew up in Minneapolis and moved down to Owatonna. I just was completely ashamed, and I thought, I'm not going to give up my integrity. That I'm not going to give away. So I got real honest, and in the process, realized, I really did have a drinking problem, and decided that, I wanted to make a life change. And so for me, that was the beginning of really rediscovering who I am and what my giftings are, and kind of get back on track to the direction that I had really intended on being on many, many years prior to that.
That's really cool. And that's neat now that you made that change in your life and you said, what a difference it's made for me. I want to help others. How different is your life before that date compared to after that date and where you're at today? How big of a difference is that?
Wow, that's a great question. I think the thing that really defines it for me is just a whole different level of peace. Unfortunately, with addiction, there's really a high level of dishonesty that happens. For me, I was not truthful to my wife, not truthful to a lot of the people around me. So keeping track of lies was a lot of pressure. And it really was. I was offended by that. I was doing things that was offensive to myself, and so living in that kind of chaos was a lot of pressure. And so now for me, the peace that I'm living in, and I'm like anybody else. There's stressful things that happen, but the peace that comes with knowing that I'm living life gut level honest. And part of the program is when you make mistakes, that you promptly admit it, and you try to make it right with the people around you. And just living honestly, it goes in line with my values. And so, I told people many times in treatment, what are your values? And we all can come up with what some good values are. And are we living those values, though? Because the truth is, the way we're living, those are our values. We can all come up with some really good ideas of what values are, but the way we're living, those are really our values. And it's not like shame on you or me because we're not living up to those. It's like, okay, how do we get there? How do we find a trajectory to get from where we are to where we want to be?
Very nice.
That's been a wonderful journey for me.
Well, Jason, thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us, and thank you so much for what you're doing there at Keystone. You're making a difference, and we absolutely appreciate that.
Well, my pleasure. My pleasure.
And we're going to get back on track with our partners in education. We wanted to take a little detour here and introduce you to the newest member of the team. Again, Jason Strickland, a new member of the team at Keystone. Partners in education this month, the topic is Being Better, Resilience in Recovery. And if you'd like to join us for that, you can join us online tomorrow. The seating capacity is already full, but the meeting is at the bakery in downtown Sioux Falls at 11:30, and you can peek in at thebakerysf.com/live. More details on that coming up.
Keystone Treatment Center would like to help you kick your addiction. Whether you struggle with drugs, alcohol, or some other addiction, Keystone may be able to help you find freedom. Call our toll-free number to learn more at 1-844-204-1055. Thousands of success stories from clients all over the country. Be the next success story. Get the help you need from Keystone Treatment Center. Chances are your addiction will not go away on its own. Get the pain to stop and let freedom begin. It starts with a call, 1-844-204-1055.
And we are back with Partners in Education, and the topic once again this month, Being Better, Resilience in Recovery. And we've got a guest back on the line here. We've got Matt Walls joining us from Keystone Treatment Center. Matt, welcome back, sir.
Well, thank you, John. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you back. And we were talking before we got back on the air here. Tomorrow, since the seating capacity is full, and we're going to be having a lot more interest. You know, once it's a sold-out show, there's more people going, well, I want to go to that. What am I missing out on? So if there are people that want to go, they can log into the live stream. But we want to give you some info in advance in case there's an issue. Now, how if they struggle to get connected tomorrow, how do they reach out to somebody again?
Yeah, the best thing to do is a few minutes before 11:30. Give for a person to give themselves some time. Go on to the bakery. S is in Sioux, F is in Falls. thebakerysf.com/live. And then if people have any issues from a technological standpoint, logging in or gaining access, I give my email out freely. You can email me at matt.walls, that's matt.walz at keystonetreatment.com. And I will, again, matt.walls, W-A-L-Z, Matt with two T's, Walls, matt.walls at keystonetreatment.com. And I'll be glad to link you up and get you set up from your computer or even a cell phone. We have a lot of folks that view it on their cell phone with the app that automatically will download for you. It's really easy and simple, and it's great content right to your phone or computer.
Tomorrow is going to be a great day. It is, again, the program, Partners in Education, Being Better, Resilience and Recovery, and it happens on Thursday, so tomorrow at 11:30 in the morning. And if you want to be a part of it, you're sadly not able to come down to the bakery this month because the seating capacity is already full, but you can certainly log in. And all of the details for all of this will be on our Facebook page, too. So if you're hearing this today and you're going, how do I do that? Facebook.com/Sunny Radio. All the details will be there. So we'll try to do everything we can to make it easy.
Perfect. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you again for taking the time to chat with us, and thanks for doing what you guys are doing. One of the things that I wanted to share, and I told Matt this yesterday or 2 days ago when we were on the phone, something that I just thought was really, really cool. We got a message through our Sunny Radio Facebook page, and it was a comment on one of the past programs that we had done for Keystone Treatment Center and NAMI, South Dakota, and the bakery, this little program that we created a little over a year ago called Partners in Education. And there was a comment on there from a listener that said, thank you so much. This is a great program. You saved my life. And I thought that was there was such a huge impact to me. Now, for me, that's amazing because I don't get to save somebody's life every day. Now, for Matt, this probably isn't quite as special because you guys do that every day. And I got to thinking about that. I'm like, every single day you're saving some life. But thank you so much for doing what you're doing to help the listeners that we have and other people around the country as well. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, John. It's always our great honor and pleasure to help. To me, it's just, I never get jaded or we see miracles happen every day. And I don't take those for granted. I don't think any of us do, and I don't think we can, quite honestly. It's amazing to see people when they come in and they start to get well, and they get off of drugs and alcohol, and they start on the mental health side reacclimating and getting right. There's miracles that happen, and families reunited. And I tell you what, John, I have a lot of hope, and I know that behind that comment on Facebook, there's a much deeper story, and I'm so grateful for that person's story and for everybody's story who starts that recovery process. And again, it's a process. It's a journey, not necessarily a destination. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
A lot of folks that think, I'm going to go to treatment or I'm going to do this and I'm going to get fixed, and that's all I'm going to ever need. And the truth is that it's a process, and sometimes there are ups and downs, but usually the trajectory is mainly up. And I'm always grateful, John, to see people who embrace the tools and embrace the concepts and really run with it. It's awesome to see it, John.
I agree completely. Again, thank you for what you do, sir. And you have to harass Eric a little bit for us too. We haven't talked to him in a while, and I know right now he's not in the office, but we'll hopefully catch up with him next month.
I'd like that.
That would be fun. Well, thank you again, sir.
Thank you, John.
Again, Matt Walls has been our guest on this month's edition of Partners in Education, or as we like to call it, Pie at the Bakery. Now, Partners in Education tomorrow, the seats are full already. So this is a reason why, in the Midwest, we're really not good at pre-registering for things. But this is a reason why you want to do that. I've been a part of an event, several events where people don't pre-register. And then the event shows up and we have like 10 times more people than we were expecting. But for those of you who did pre-register, thank you so much. For those of you that did not, join us tomorrow for Partners in Education at the bakery, but you can't necessarily be at the bakery, but you can be there virtually from your computer if you log into thebakerysf.com/live. And tomorrow at 11:30 a.m., you're going to be able to watch the program along with everybody that's in the bakery as well. And it's Being Better, Resilience in Recovery is the topic for tomorrow. And the good news is if you're looking for your CEUs, this is worth 1.5 CEUs. It's approved through NADAC, and that works even if you're doing the live stream online. So you can get all the details from Matt on that as well. Thank you again for joining us. Again, all of the details for all of that at facebook.com/sunnyradio. And a huge thank you to our Partners in Education team at Keystone Treatment Center, at NAMI of South Dakota, and at the bakery. Thanks for listening to Sunny Radio, where it's always in the 80s.